That was an amazing intro. Welcome. Thank you for having me here today. Again, my name is Vanessa. Rebecca talked a lot about my marketing acumen, my marketing career, but I want to take it back just a little bit and tell you a little bit about my journey and how I actually became a professional coach. I grew up in a very empathetic family. I'm from Chicago, Chi-Town in the house. Yes. And my mother was a social worker and counselor. And so you can imagine growing up in a household with a mother that deals with social economic issues in Chicago really makes you be much more compassionate and empathetic in how you approach the world. And so that was instilled in me at a very, very young age, and that carried through my entire career and my entire life. I started my professional career when I was 19 years old, believe it or not. And I went to a business school. And just to talk about how service and empathy has always been a part of my life, I got my first job through that. I helped a fellow classmate who was older than me, who was struggling a bit. She asked for my help. Absolutely gave her all the help that she needed. And she said, one day I'm gonna pay you back. And I said, you don't have to do that. I love helping people. So her sister, who was director of the National Black MBA Association, needed a temp. And so she referred me. I went and worked for her sister for 3 months, and they hired me permanently. So before I ever stepped into marketing and advertising, I worked in association management for 3 years. And my first real corporate job was working in association management with the National Black MBA. Any of you who are familiar with that organization know it is one of the top organizations for people of color who are, excelling in their careers. So went there, worked for several years, and answered an ad back when papers were more important, newspapers, Chicago Tribune, Sun-Times, for a role in an advertising agency. Got the job, and that started my journey in marketing and advertising. I won't bore you with that long, long story, except to say that it transformed me. I didn't even think marketing and advertising was something that I was interested in. But it became my life for over 30 years. And so I know what it's like to work in an industry, imagine it 30 years ago, where you talk about the only. Oh boy, was I the only. I was the only in the room, the conferences, in and everything to do with our marketing for the agency I worked for at the time. I was the only Black person in that agency the entire time I worked there for 7 years. So when you think about today and people still are talking about I'm the only, why is that? So I did that for a number of years, and I worked at Burrell and a lot of the global companies that Rebecca mentioned. Fast forward to 2010, I moved to New York. And that was the unlock for me, to be honest with you. I had learned and crafted strategy and investment, and I'd done that for a number of years for global brands. But I had an opportunity to move to New York and be the Associate Director of Diversity Strategy and Operations. And that was the unlock for where I am today, okay? I took all those years of strategy, investment experience, and paired that with what we call ESG, environmental social governance. And I worked in DE&I and supplier diversity. And I worked on AT&T's business for 4 years. And I further started to feel like, gosh, I want to do more to help people. This is my calling. This is my superpower, right? So I continued to work that, craft that. I had amazing bosses along the way, strong bosses, women of color as well, who helped me along that journey. No one ever ascends in their career without help, without mentors, without really identifying what they want to do and finding the right resources to help them, okay? So, and I had ascended in my career. 2021, I was the Chief Diversity Officer. Rebecca, you're right, you were saying it correct, VaynerX. It wasn't a good fit for me, but what it really did for me was made me step out on faith a little bit. I had all this experience, I've had all of these meaningful things that have happened in my career, but I started to feeling more and more like I wanted to be my own boss. I wanted to make sure that businesses were looking at diversity in the workforce from the point of view of someone who's been the only, I wanted to help people figure out what their superpower was, how to activate that. And so I started 2 businesses. One is my marketing consulting business that Rebecca spoke about. The second is my coaching business, which I really want to talk about more here, which is Coaching Life's Journey. That was a long time coming for me. I mentored for years. I got my first job in corporate America because I helped someone. But in 2014, I felt like I want to do more. I want to coach. I want to really help people find their superpower, find their voice, and help them in their career advancement. But at that time, it was a little difficult. My job I was at, I traveled a lot. I just didn't know how to balance that and getting my professional certification. So I put it on hold. I had signed up to do this with IPEC, which is a very well-known company that trains coaches, professional coaches. And they're also partnered with ICF, which is the International Coaching Federation. So put it on hold, a couple of years. Last year, again, separated from Vayner and said, I want to do it. And so I signed up finally, and when I reached out to them, they said, oh my God, we still have your information from 2014. I said, I'm finally gonna do it. I'm doing it, I'm out on my own. So I started my coaching journey, and I don't regret it. I have amazing support from family. I have amazing support from my partner who's in the room here, and I never look back. And so I want to talk a little bit about coaching and the benefits of coaching and what coaching is and what it is and what it is not, right? So a lot of people think as coaches as mentors because they tell you what to do. And I've had people who look at me and say, tell me what to do, Vanessa. And I'm like, that's not what coaching is. I'm here to help ask you the right questions to help you find the unlock, to help you set the path and journey for your life. Nobody knows you better than yourself. Right? That's what coaches do. We help our clients design the best life plan for themselves, or if it's leadership coaching, career coaching, what's the best plan for you, right? The difference between coaching and therapy is that coaching focuses on the current and the future, right? Therapy focuses on the past and the trauma, right? So they're distinctly different in how we approach the client's needs when they come to us, a therapist or a professional coach, right? Then you think about mentors. Mentors are there to give you advice, tell you kind of what their path was, their journey was, and what you should potentially do, and how you can mirror some of the things that they've done that help them in their career. Then you have friendships. That's the most valuable one that we start when we're young. It's our families, it's our friends, it's our cousins, it's the people in our community that we grow up with. So they give you kind of their perspective and what they think you should do based on their experiences. But it's really different because your relationship from a friendship and a mentor is very different. So coaching really digs into the mindset of the client, where they are in their journey, and how do we help them find their superpower and their voice and activate it, whatever that is for them, okay? So I wanna talk about the core energy process a little bit, is what we're trained to do or implement at IPEC. And so there are 2 different types of energies that we all exhibit. There's catabolic energy and there's anabolic energy. Catabolic is the bad stuff. That's the negative, draining, destructive energy that we all have, and we all have them. I have my moments too. We all possess it. Anabolic energy is that constructive building energy, right? That's where we really dig into all of the great things that we can do and build, right? And that's that positive energy. And I think most people live between both anabolic and catabolic energy. It depends on the day, it depends on the time, where you are in your life. But you really want to live primarily in anabolic energy. So when you think about anabolic energy and you think about the levels, so there's 7 levels of energy, and I'm not going to get into all of them today, but they range from 1 to 7. 1 being victim energy, right? The worst energy that one can have. Everybody else is at fault for everything that happens in their life, everything that goes wrong, right? And then 7 is transcendence. It's you're fully aware of everything and your role in it, and you're very accepting of it, right? So coaching helps clients go from level 1 energy to level 7 energy. But I want to caveat, you don't live in 7 all the time. People think, I'm 7 and I'm gonna be here all the time. That's not necessarily true, okay? You wanna be aware that that was level 7 energy, but it's exhausting to be in 7 all the time, to be honest with you. But you definitely wanna do the work so that you can identify when you're living in that energy space. The things that block us from elevating our energy, we call Gale. And it's 4 different energy blocks, right? G is gremlins. That's when you tell yourself, I'm not good enough, they're never gonna hire me, this isn't gonna work. So you self-sabotage yourself. And that's what we call gremlins. Then there's assumptions. A lot of us, including me from time to time, live in the world of assumptions, assuming that something is going to be a certain way. Then there are interpretations. Someone did something, so, that's gonna turn out bad. I don't wanna do that, because if it turned out bad for them, it's gonna turn out bad for me. The last is limited beliefs. This is, I think, almost one of the hardest things to shift for a client and a coach, because our belief system is built from birth, right? We often hear people say, you are a product of your environment. You're a product of where you grew up, in the household you grew up in, right? So some of those limiting beliefs can be positive and some of them can be negative. And depending on that person, it could take a lot of work to unlock that energy, that negative catabolic energy, when you have a lot of limited beliefs about how you view the world, how you view yourself as an individual. So once we kind of work through all those different areas of energy, so that 1 to 7, we look at Gales that are limiting people from getting to the number 7, to transformational. Because I don't have the answers, as I said earlier. You have all the answers. My role as a professional coach is to help you identify what your role is in a situation, how you can build the plan that best works for your life, depending on where you are in your life journey. It could be your personal life, it could be your professional life. You haven't been promoted in 5 years. Why? I worked so hard. Well, our role is to help you identify what your part is in not being able to get that promotion. Or that might not be the right place for you. And that's what we work through with you to help you identify. So there are a lot of different techniques that we use in coaching. I can't tell you all my trade secrets because they probably kill me. But there are a couple of things I think I'd like to share with all of you that I think are important to kind of understand baseline. One is centering. That can be done through writing, it can be done through meditation. There are a number of different ways. The importance of centering is when you're going on a coaching journey to change your life, right? Personal, professional, you wanna make sure that you're centered and you're open, right? When you're not open to the change, you're gonna live in that catabolic energy. So you wanna make sure whenever you're doing the work, you center yourself and you're open to whatever comes as a part of that process. We also use what's called Wheel of Life. And so this takes us through various aspects of a person's life: professional, fun time, family, finances, a whole gamut of different areas. And we identify what's most important to you, not me, but you. And I talked to somebody, I don't know if she's in this room recently, about some of this. So we take you through that process and some of those assignments. And then there's life planning, what we also call life purpose, right? And that's where you really start to unlock your superpower. We look at every situation in your life, how that situation is impacting you. right, professionally, and then every situation in your life from a personal standpoint and how that's impacting you. Okay? So, out of all of this, the ultimate plan is birth through coaching. And a big part of it is goal setting and accountability. And I've worked with a couple of people who don't like to be accountable. Who wants to be? I just want to live. I don't want to be accountable for doing that. I just want to kick it. Somebody else handle that. No, coaching is about you being accountable for the plan that you set and reaching those goals. And a great scenario is if you have someone else in your life help you be accountable, someone who can help nudge you along, right? But accountability, if you're going to go on this journey, is extremely, extremely important, right? If you're not ready, don't do it. It will frustrate you. It will frustrate the coach. Trust me, I've had someone recently who I was like, I love you, but be prepared, because it is a journey. It's a transformational journey that you're going to be going through when you have someone coach you. And the benefits are great. I mean, I can tell you some personal stories of coaching. I have an amazing, more of a mentor, but kind of like a coach, who's been working with me since 2011, still in my life today. One of the people who will call me on my stuff, I don't understand why. That's the caliber energy I was talking about. Why this and that? And he'll say, you done now? Okay. What's your value proposition? And it always takes me back and centers me to something related to my goals, something that I said I'm going to do. And he holds me accountable. He will text me, hey, how's it going? Did you do this? Right? So you always want to have someone who can help you with that. And I've been really, 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 really blessed in my career to have, like I said earlier, amazing people to help get me across the threshold to where I am today. And I really, really appreciate all of them. So the power of coaching can really, really help you transform your life, right? All coaches are not good coaches. There are a lot of people out here who are saying, I'm a coach. I coach people. But they don't understand the core energy process. They don't really understand what coaching entails. They read a few books and then they think they know how to coach. Coaching, a professional coach has to go through hours and hours and hours of training to be able to work with someone. Almost feels like a therapist, but not a therapist. So someone who read a couple of books and calls himself a coach is not a coach. And so whether you work with me or you work with someone else, do your homework. Make sure this person really has the right credentials, because your money is important to you, right? To really help you in a way that's going to transform your life.